You guys are probably looking at my hair like, holy shit. Um, I just took a shower. That's why my hair was like this. Don't worry, it get fluff up later on during the day. But anyways, I just took a shower. That's why my hair was like this. But anyways, moving on. Later on, maybe one video you will see me have a hair tie on. You know, I usually wear a hair tie since my hair got longer. But anyways, moving on. I want to talk about these WWE games, man. Right now, I'm playing through other WWE games right now, like SmackDown Raw 2011, 2K18, 2K20, and some other wrestling games too. You know, like what is it? I was about to say Know Your Role, but I don't have that one. It's Here Comes the Pain, but I'm not actually playing that. I'm actually what is it? What's it called? Shut Your Mouth. Shut Your Mouth. Um, but I want to talk about these games real quick, mainly because I want to say this one thing. They all have something in common, except for the THQ games. Except for what 2K14, which is the last WWE um last good WWE wrestling game. You know. Now there is a game that's coming out called Ultra Pro Wrestling. So a lot of people are looking forward at that. People might look at the graphics and be like, "Oh, but look at this," and I'm like, "See, this is why I have to say that graphics aren't everything, guys. If you're upset that graphics look like toothpicks, then something's wrong with you. As long as the game is fucking goddamn fun, all right. For kind of like you didn't mind playing a stick figure that had pants and freaking Goku hair on your computer. Remember that game? I remember that game like it was yesterday. Shit, you guys didn't have a problem playing that game, but now you have a problem if we ever had a wrestling game like that, you know? And then people will say that, oh, but it's the modern times of the consoles. Games need to look like that. Yeah, they're still gonna be hollow and heartless than what these games used to be in the PS3 era and PS2 and one and even Nintendo era, even the Atari era. Good God, man! I could talk about so many generations of gaming that were good and fun. This generation of gaming of the PS5 era and PS4 era, which is the PS4 era had its moments, but overall was still lackluster. The PS5 era, no one doesn't give a fuck. Sorry, no one doesn't give a fuck. Even these companies don't care. So why should we care? If they don't care, why should we? You know. So there is a lot of wrestling games out there, obviously, like Fire Pro Wrestling, I believe, right? I did have that game, but actually gave it away. Yeah, Fire Pro Wrestling. I actually gave it away mainly because I was trying to figure out the gameplay and somehow I couldn't. I don't know why. So I just got rid of it. I just got rid of it. It is a good game though. Um, it has a, it has a good roster basically. And from what I did play, I had fun even though I was getting my ass kicked. And I was just like, okay, I think this game is probably not for me. But even though it's sad because this is the type of wrestling game, the art style and everything, this is what I want in a wrestling game. If you're like, imagine like nowadays these freaking stupid people, what other people out here might call simps and all that stuff. Um, all of these new was it new modern wrestling fans or some shit like that? They will look at graphics like these, right? They will look at graphics like these, right? And literally say that, how is that a good wrestling game? Just look at the graphics. And I'll be like, see, this is why wrestling is the way it is. This is why wrestling games is the way it is, because you guys just don't give a fuck. If you guys cared, maybe these companies will actually give a fuck. Maybe they actually put effort on their product. And maybe we don't have to have repeating matches, or maybe you take away matches and then put them back in and say that they're brand new. No, they're not. They've never been that way. Okay? You're going to tell me an ambulance match that was in a DS game, a SmackDown vs. Raw 2010, which is a good game by the way. You telling me an ambulance match that's in 2010 game and maybe another wrestling game too is new? Is new? No, it's not. Where's my Inferno match? Where's my Buried Alive match? You gave me a casket match, but not a Buried Alive match. Where's my street fight? Where's my no holds bar? Even though you can create those in the wrestling creation stuff, but that needs more variety now. They haven't expanded on that at all. At this point in the game, they should have expanded on it to the point that you can literally custom any type of match that you see fit. The reason I like SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 so much and 2K14 is because I like creating my own superstars to the fullest, and I like creating an arena basically. Do we have that? Do we have custom arenas in 2K14? Let me see. WWE 2K WWE 2K 14. Let's see. And I might just pick up this game again, 2K14. I used to have it, but then I sold it to get eventually 2K15 or 16 and shit like that. So I know some people might hate on 16, 2K16. It's not as bad, but I'll skip. It's basically 16, skip 17. You could skip 18, but the roster for 18 is so good, you shouldn't skip it. And 19, and then that's it. 16, 16, 18 and 19. That's it. That's it. That's all the 2K games you should actually play to get your fucking fix. To be quite honest with you, if you want to be truly and deeply understanding about it, basically, if you really want to play these 2K games but not really play these 2K games, if that makes sense. Yeah, sure, the online features are gone and you can't get the DLC characters, which suck. You mean to tell me you can't keep that service on? You mean to tell me you can't do that or translate that service to that new engine of the game? You mean to tell me you can't do that, 2K? You mean to tell me you can't do that? In 2024, and when these games were coming out, you mean to tell me you couldn't do that? I could probably imagine not doing it in the PS3 era, but in the PS4 era? Now in the PS5 era? No, you can do it. There's no excuse. You can fucking do it. You can fucking do it. It's just that you don't want to waste money on it because your parent company, Take-Two Interactive, is paying attention to your NBA shit, 2K, and your little brother, your big brother, freaking Rockstar. Yeah, people seem to forget Take-Two, not Take-Two 2K. There we go. Take-Two Interactive is the parent company, but 2K has a sibling that we all know that's called Rockstar Games, man. I don't even have to talk about Rockstar. You guys know how I feel about that company right now, man. Fuck that company. Fuck that company. I hate more Rockstar right now than I do Square Enix. And Square Enix can go fuck themselves. Alright? At least I'll say this with Square Enix. At least I'll say this with Square Enix. At least Square Enix is pumping out games left and right like they used to. And what's Rockstar doing? Pumping one game every fucking 20 years. The fuck's on with you? What the fuck is on with you? That's another rant for another day. But at least Square Enix doesn't do that. At least Square Enix doesn't do that. At least I can give them that. At least. And then you get some games that I have never played before, like Live and Live and shit like that. And I'm all like, yes, I want to play that shit. It might not change gaming or anything like that, but it's a start for Square Enix, in my opinion, to have these old games that a lot of people haven't played that they want to play. And you're gonna get some of those people saying that, oh, why would I want to play these old games? I want something new. But some of these games haven't come out in America, like Live and Live, for example. Now I can understand maybe what is it? What's that other game that they remaster, which is not bad. Um, oh, what's it called? You have to play multiple characters basically like that. Oh, I forgot what's the game, and I have the game. Oh, Saga Frontier, Saga Frontier. Because I'm not, because to be quite honest, guys, I actually like the Saga games going back to the original Game Boy, the one that was called Final Fantasy Legends. In Final Fantasy Legends 2, and 3 of Final Fantasy Legends, it's so good. It's so good. If you ever want to play a freaking pocket monster game that's not Pokemon, play this. Play that game. Or Shimigami. But those two games right there are fucking amazing. They are. They're really good. I think they're better than Pokemon. I think they are better than Pokemon. Because Pokemon doesn't really give you that more things to chew on, in my opinion. That's just me, man. I don't hate Pokemon, but when every time I play those games, I'm just like, there's nothing to chew on. That's why the side stuff, like the dungeon crawler stuff with Pokemons, are more fun. Because people like to play those games, and I don't blame them. But going back to wrestling, going back to these WWE games, these games, man, used to be like, I've said this countless of times before, and you guys are probably sick of me saying about this, and that's fine. But it needs to be said. These wrestling games are the best action RPGs ever made. I am dead serious. You can't top that. You can't top a wrestling game. You really think a modern RPG can literally beat a wrestling game that's from the past, like 2K14 and WWE 13, WWE 12, and then SmackDown was all 2011, and Here Comes the Pain and shit like that, and No Mercy? You mean to tell me? You mean to tell me that you know because you mean to tell me that those games are not are like the greatest RPG games ever? You mean to tell me that's not true? I think it is. Still to this day, man, you can literally customize the living shit of what your character wants. And yes, sometimes we have it too good. That's why sometimes I might not play the older WWE games now because I like creating my own arena. I like creating my superstar to the fullest that I want him to look like. Because the way that my superstar looks like now, I can't make him in what he looks like in Here Comes the Pain or in the other SmackDown vs. Raw games. I can only make him like that in SmackDown vs. Raw 2010, 11, and maybe 13, and definitely 14. And then that's it, because there's certain attires that you want to put on your superstar that the other games don't have. So you have to kind of confiscate for that. Yes, you might not mind it a bit, but in the back of your head, you're like, that's why sometimes when you do go back to these games, and you still have your creative superstar there, just leave them the way they are, just to look at that and be like, this is what they look like in that era. So that's what I do. You could probably like update them a bit and stuff like that. That's what I do sometimes. But overall, um, it's not the same. And some people might be like, oh, it sounds like you know, it sounds like that you don't like to go to the old wrestling games because the not the newest ones, but like the previous ones, like SmackDown Raw 2011 and 2K um 14 had so much freedom and creativity to the point to the point that why should you go back to those games? I mean, you could for nostalgia and because you like certain stuff that some wrestling games do not have. I agree with that. I will always agree with that. If you want to play Here Comes the Pain because you want to be outside, go on top of that helicopter shit and go elbow drop on somebody and miss or hit them, I don't blame you. I wish that was in all the wrestling games, to be quite honest with you. Free roaming and all that shit. What do you think people love SmackDown Raw 2011? Do do I wish that they expanded more on you going backstages and everything like that? Yes. Because if Here Comes the Pain did it, if SmackDown 2 did it in a way, but if Here Comes the Pain and Shut Your Mouth did it, why you just not translating that? to make it more better and better and better. That's the only, if there was a flaw that I always had with 2K, it's that. I've always had a flaw with that with 2K. I'm all like, you mean to tell me you did that, but you can't bring that and bring this and then make it different? Or just add on it? You know? You know? So it's not, so it's not just other companies that, I mean, it's not just 2K that's fucking shit up. Even THQ was kind of fucking it up a bit too, but it was still consistent to the point that we still loved it, we still came back, and it was still fun. With the 2K stuff, man, like they just need to get away from that simulation crap. It needs to be archaic. It has to be archaic, man. Not to say you can't have simulation and archaic all at the same time. SmackDown Raw 2011 has that. Some people think it's slow and shit like that nowadays. But if you play it, eventually you get hyped up. That's the thing. This is how I know you're not a true wrestling fan, because old wrestling used to be like, okay, you start off slow, then you pick it up, and then you pick it up to the point that, you're like, yeah. Nowadays, if someone doesn't do a front flip over the top rope, you're gonna call the match. You're gonna say the match sucks, and I'm just like, come on, guys, what the hell? And you know that these superstars get more injured when they're doing more stunts like that. So stop being an asshole like that. I'm dead serious. These motherfuckers put their bodies on the line to the point for our entertainment. And then you over here being like, this is why old Hall of Famers, even Austin says that, hey, the problem sometimes with wrestling is that these motherfuckers do a whole bunch of moves instead of just making it progress that way. And I'm like, yeah, that is the biggest problem with wrestling right now. You guys just want to go through the punches, and then you're exhausted by the end of the match to the point that you probably injured yourself. Instead of instead of still instead of just what is it, increasing it as the match goes on, because that's also telling a story. That's just me, man. Look at Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25. That match was a slow paced match, and then it kept building and building and building, and it's one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time, hands down, hands down. You cannot argue with that. People will never argue with that. Still to this day, people look at that match and be like, that is the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, hands down. That's number one. Nothing else can beat it. I'm dead serious. There's people out there that say that. And I can't blame them, because that match is fucking good. It's really good. It is better than Hulk Hogan versus The Rock. I like that match, but you know who made that match? The fans. The fans make that match. Look at the crowd. All right? Seriously. And to be quite honest, The Rock versus Hulk Hogan wasn't really a match. It was a spectacle to see these two icons just go at it. And that's fine. You need that. You do. You need that. You need that. You need that spectacle. But so many people out here feel like, oh, you don't need that because it's stupid if you try to do that. And I'm like, we had it before, and you ate it up like a fucking like it was a hoe. You ate that pussy like it was a hoe. Seriously. So I don't know what's wrong with it now. Basically, you know. So that's just me as a wrestling fan. All right. And these wrestling games should these 2K wrestling games should come to the point that they're not doing what they're doing, man. Look, I won't be surprised. I mean, I would like to have THQ come back to the WWE wrestling games, but that's just up to WWE and THQ. Most likely, the original people that did those video games are not there anymore. Especially if they separated and went to not Aki but Ukes, and some of them are probably not even there anymore either. Because if they were there, then the AEW game probably would have sold a lot more money. Just saying. Just saying. And if they are there still and they created that, then that tells me they can't make shit. They can't make shit. Which is sad, because didn't Ukes literally say that we don't have the freedom that we wanted to make these 2K games? But yet they have the range to do AEW, and then they give us this. What? Either two things. Either they wanted to rush the product to get it out there, or they just didn't know what to do. They're like, we need to make it different. We can't make it similar to SmackDown, all this and that, because people are going to notice and fucking hate it. Which I'm over here like, no, we wouldn't. That's what we want, idiots. Am I the only one that thinks this shit? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if we had a clone of Here Comes the Pain, and yet you can create your superstar to the fullest and create an arena to the fullest. I eat that shit up. But there's so many companies out here that be like, no, we can't repeat that shit. We need to do something new. And I'm just like, I get it. I get it. But why are you going to change that's not broken? Again, going back, THQ did the same shit. Alright? And we all talking about 2K with the same thing too. 2K is just doing it worse. While THQ was literally like, hey, here's our THQ was literally like, here's different wrestling games, and you could pick your preference of what you want. And that's the THQ wrestling games. And that's fine. That's why they're more memorable, and that's why they're more talked about to this day. Because there's a variety of these wrestling games to the point that you can pick a wrestling game that you want, and you can literally be with it forever. You know? So, I don't know what else to say. These wrestling games used to be awesome, man. Seriously. Once you started creating your own story mode and stuff like that, not even in your head, literally creating it in SmackDown Raw 2011 and 10, I was just like, you can't go back. What's stopping me for creating some superstars that I like that are not in the game and making my own fucking modern WWE game from 2024 or 2023, for example? You know, I can get 2K14. Let me look and play that shit. Again, let me see if there's a. The only thing that I don't like with the custom arenas in 2K14 is is when you do customize the arena, it's kind of limited. But hey, you had to start off somewhere. You did. You had to start off somewhere. And yes, you can create an arena. And you had different types of arena styles anyways. So, and you could take some things out and everything like that to make it different and stuff. So, overall, it was still pretty cool. It was still pretty nice. The fact that we even have the option for that, it was something, you know? So, again, 2K, WWE 2K14 is literally probably right next to SmackDown Raw 2011, the best WWE game of all time, the best RPG game of all time. It is. The best action RPG games of all time, all these wrestling games, man. And some people fail to see it, while others don't want to see it. Mainly because it doesn't benefit them. That tells them that they need to work harder. Right? Because when you're making an RPG game, action or turn based, you need to work hard on it. Because you need to expand your mind outside of the box to the point that you need to be creative with this shit. 2K can't do that. They can never do that. After THQ was done and 2K took over, that's it. And then when Ukes left, they were harping on Ukes all the fucking goddamn time. How did that work out for them? Look at 2K20. It became a mess of a disaster. That so much to the point that they skipped 2K21 and we got 2K22. And I believe it's somewhere around here. I believe I have it. But I guarantee you this. I did not give my money to 2K when I bought these games. I got it in a mom and pop store that they deserve my money because they have good shit there. And I've been knowing them since I was like 18 or 15 years old. And I'm 30 right now. So yeah, they deserve it. You know? Seriously. And they know me very well. I haven't stole for them or anything like that. You know, they treat me like an old friend. They treat me like a member of the family, basically. It's pretty cool. It is. It's pretty cool. You know? And there's other people that go there for a long, long time and they get that same treatment as well. You know? So it's a good community base right there in that one. But moving on from that, it's just something that it's just something that a lot of like I feel like a lot of modern wrestling fans do not understand, overstand, and understand the appreciation of these old wrestling games. Some of them might not even play No Mercy on the N64 just because the way the graphics look. Even though that game has branching pathways and it keeps on going like a motherfucker, it does not stop. That is something that I've been dying to have in these new wrestling games, or even after that. Some WWE games do have branching paths. Some of them do, but not all of them though. In some WWE games, you have to keep going on that same path to eventually the game is just like, yeah, here's a path that's just open, and I'm like, what did I do differently here? And the game is just like, you played it for so many years, we gave you a bone, and I'm over here like, really, really? I could have sworn I could have done something different. Oh no, we're just giving you a bone. It's not like SmackDown 2006 when you choose who ran over Teddy Long is like who do I choose, John Cena or Rob Van Dam? And then you get two branching storylines with that. If you choose Rob Van Dam, eventually you go back to that ECW type of shit by the main event by the end of the whole story, and you become like an ECW guy and stuff like that because you choose it because you have an option to choose. Do you want to join ECW or do not? And then when you do, Taz is like, oh, so he chose ECW. Good for him. Michael Cole is like, give me a break. And then Taz is like, hey man, there's just certain things that me and you are just gonna disagree with. Yo, I love the commentary for these games, man. They're fucking hilarious. They are great. They are the highlight of the game, man. They are the highlight of the game. I love the fucking commentary in these games, man. They really are good. You know, in the beginning, in Know Your Role, it was kind of off a bit. You know, they just said like few things. What a maneuver! Look at that. Remember that back in the day? Oh man, that's what it was on WWF Attitude. Here's the finisher. Austin. Just like saying stupid shit. I'm like, that's not what they're doing. Oh god, it was so funny. So funny. But at the same time I kind of miss that. Because it's so cheesy and fun. Oh, I wish they can give you an option. Cheesy, fun commentary or regular commentary. That's just me, man. I think there should be an option for that since we have so many options now to pick a referee. Which, in a way, we kind of really don't need it, but I'm glad it's there. At least there was an option for it now, you know? At least there is an option for it. Because we have women referees now, which it's about damn fucking time, in my opinion. Took them long enough, WWE. And it's not even the game's fault, it's actually WWE's fault. I'm like, you mean to tell me you're going to have a women's match and not have a women ref? What? That never made sense to me. Never made sense to me. Now they have done it, and I'm over here like, finally. I guess you're not sexist after all. No. But moving on, guys, moving on. What would you like to see in a modern WWE game? Me, I already picked it. A modern WWE game that has literally something that you see in SmackDown Raw 2011, 2K14, Here Comes the Pain, and No Mercy. Those are the 4 games that people should look at, put them all together in one, and get that fucking wrestling game that everybody wants. That is a wrestling game that everybody will want. I guarantee you. Guarantee you. Alright? How cool would it have been? I think you could still do this too in the older games. I could be wrong in SmackDown Raw 2011 and 2K14. Can't you do like branching pathways? when you create a story mode. I could be wrong. Maybe you can. I haven't played those games in a while, so I have to recheck. Even though I have been playing some of them, I just haven't been playing them a lot because I've just been focusing on me. I don't play video games a lot anymore, guys. I'm saying that right now. I might talk about it and stuff like that. I might play some games here and there, but overall, I don't play games as I used to anymore. I'm more focused on thyself and being more in tune to me and nature. That's just me, man. I don't want to get distracted and automatically not focus on me, and then all of a sudden I'm lacking spiritually. Fuck that shit. I'm not doing that shit. Hell no. Hell to the fuck no, no, no. You know, obviously you need a balance with physical and spiritual, but still, I don't want to go on to the point that I'm not even doing the spiritual stuff. You know, so that's just me. That's just me as a person. Everyone's different, but that's just me. That is just me. So anything else I could talk about the wrestling games before I end the video. I just want a good wrestling game, man. That's really it. Will Ultimate Pro Wrestling do that? I don't know, because all those four things that I mentioned, will Fire Pro Wrestling even do that? That's a Fire Pro Wrestling, Ultra Pro Wrestling. Will it even do that? Will it even do that? The four wrestling games that I mentioned that should be all one to create the magnum opus of wrestling games. You think Ultra Pro Wrestling would do that? Are we that confident? I just want to know. Do you think that will happen? And if you don't think that will happen, then that's a problem. Not because of you. It's because we should have a game like that already. If not, it should come out soon. The fact that we had to wait this long for any wrestling game to try to put those four wrestling games that I mentioned all together is like, you guys are taking this long to not fucking realize this shit. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it, man. A game like that has all the elements, all those four WWE games that I mentioned, that should have came out when the PS4 era started, or when the PS3 era was in its twilight years. Just saying, man. We hit a road with wrestling to the point that it needs to adapt and evolve to become better, to become something new, fresh, but also what is it, what's it called, but also I want to say relatable, but I don't. That's not even the right word I'm talking about. Make it feel like familiar, something new, fresh, but also familiar at the same time. I don't know why I couldn't say that word. I guess I don't use it a lot in my vocabulary. But yeah, it needs to be familiar, man. And if it doesn't have that type of feel, if it doesn't make you feel like you're playing these old wrestling video games, then you fail. You failed already. You already failed. It doesn't have to have the same gameplay that you see in No Mercy or Here Comes the Pain. It doesn't have to. I know some people might argue about that and be like, "Well, if it doesn't have that, then I don't want to play it." Grow up. To be quite honest with you, grow up. Grow up. Grow up. Grow up. Because those four wrestling games that I mentioned, that if they all came together would be great. Guess what? All if we did get that, and if we did get that wrestling game, obviously the people that made it would have to look at all those games that I mentioned, and would have to look at all of those gameplays and figure out how to make those equally the same, but also fresh and new. Okay? Is that too much to ask? Is that too much to ask for a video game company, and also for the people that just don't care? Because some of us actually want these games to be better. All right? But there are some people out here that just don't care and rather go back to the old shit and still talk about and talk shit about the new stuff instead of saying, hey, we need something that can give everybody what they want. Oh, but that's impossible. No, it's not. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. We had the four wrestling video games that I mentioned. They gave us that. The only difference is there were 4 separate wrestling video games instead of 1. Can't be that hard. I'm telling you, cannot be that hard. It can't be. It can't be that hard. If it's hard, if it's that hard, then maybe we should never have video game. Then maybe we should not have video wrestling video games at all anymore. Then, if it's that hard for some people to even fathom to want it, or can't fathom for these video game companies to make one, I'm dead serious. Might as well not even have no more wrestling games at all. But if I say that, then I know some people will be like, "Oh no, you shouldn't say that." Well then, what do you want? It sounds like you want to have your cake and eat it too, instead of compromising. Not to say you can't have your cake and eat it too, but sometimes you need to compromise with this shit. A new modern wrestling game should have the branching pathways of No Mercy, the gameplay of Here Comes the Pain, the variety and the variety and the creativity of SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 and WWE 2K14. That is it. That's all you need. That's all you need. You think that's hard to make? That hard to do? If you think it's that hard, this should be. We should not again. All these wrestling games that are coming out this year, it would be the last of them. Then, if it's that if it's that hard to fathom, and if it's that hard to fucking make, it can't be that hard to make. It can't be. It can't be that hard to make. Because if it is, then what are we doing here then? What are we doing here? Why are you making these wrestling games? Why do we play these wrestling games? I'm talking to the fans and these fucking companies at this point. Because you don't think it's a good idea to have the branching pathways of No Mercy, the gameplay of Here Comes the Pain, and the creativity of SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 and 2K 14. You mean to tell me that's unfeasible? If you can imagine it, it can happen. Have you ever heard about that? Guys need to use your imagination more. You guys need to use your intuition more. Because this is the shit that we're talking about here, man. We need to do better. We need to do better and ask for better. Because I don't see you guys asking for better. I'm sorry. I'm saying that right now. I'm not saying all of you are like that, but I've been noticing that not a lot of you wrestling fans are asking the true reason what wrestling game that we should get. And we have a whole bunch of wrestling games to look back on to be like, yeah, just pick out 4 and you'll be like, yeah, that's exactly what it should be. Just have these elements. And I guarantee you, people will come. People will come. And have unlimited match types, man. And have the option to create different types of match types too. Again, going back, how cool would it be if you can make a Hell in a Cell match with a last man standing match with it, but also you can have the 2 elements of last man standing and Hell in a Cell, meaning there will be pinfall submissions, but also if you're on the floor, the referee has to count to 10. That's creative as fuck. How about this? An ambulance match that if someone bleeds, it's over. Might not sound great, but at least it's something. You know? Seriously. At least it's something. I don't know. I'm. How about this? A trash match. Remember those? Remember that? Remember that at WrestleMania 14? I think that what it was, right? A trash match. I don't know why we don't even have that match. Of all the wrestling games that we have, we never had that stipulation match. That's funny. It could be similar to the casket match, obviously, but fuck it. You mean to tell me you can't change a modder? What? Again, so many different match types. So many different match types. Freaking one of them that should be in a wrestling game is um you having a rope on you and the other opponent has a rope on them. I forgot what that match is called, but I haven't seen that in a wrestling video game, at least to my knowledge. Have you? I don't think I have. And if you have, let me know, because I would like to know what wrestling game that is, because I never seen it in a wrestling game. And some people might point out, some people might also point out, Day of Reckoning. I have not played those games. I heard the second one is awesome. Um, I've always wanted to play those games because they look fucking good. They do. They look good. But if they don't give me the creativity freedom of me making a custom character, then I don't know. I might just pass on that. That's just me, man. And that's probably sad because I'm missing something out, most likely. You know, that's just that's how I really feel with these wrestling games. The creativity, the core of you making your character as ridiculous as you want, with a tail, with freaking buck teeth, or big head and everything. I'm just guessing, just at this point. Remember when you can make your superstars with a big head and tiny, tiny waist and shit like that? What happened to that? I remember those. Shit, people used to create crazy shit back in the day. You can't even do it in these modern wrestling games. It's stupid as fuck. It's so fucking stupid. So that's just me, man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later. I I I, I don't want to say hope either because these wrestling games, especially from the ones that 2K is making, they're not good. They're not feasibly good. They're not giving a long lasting um um long lasting impressions. They're not. They just come out. They are what they are, and then next year we get it again. And instead of being hyped for it like we used to be, the true hardcore wrestling fans, we just look at it as like, oh, another cash grab. So Take Two Interactive can use that for the NBA games and Rockstar. Don't be surprised. Don't be fucking surprised if that's true. I could be wrong, of course, but don't be surprised if that's true. Don't be surprised because there's no fucking excuse that if they put more effort to their NBA games in GTA Online than this shit. And going back to the online, you mean to tell me that 2K, these WWE 2K games, can have a good server like GTA Online? See, I'm telling you guys, they putting they are making games and then grabbing that money and putting on other games that they fucking give a fuck about. Because because the wrestling games are not making the money. They know that. Why do you think they? Why do you think there's like three options to fucking pick a cover of a game? We never had that back in the day. Back in the PS2 era and PS3 era, no, you just got one physical copy and that was it. Some of them might have different covers, but guess what? It's still the same fucking goddamn game. Like, it's like I don't believe this shit, man. So I'll see you guys. Be safe. Seriously, be safe. And tell me what you guys think about this video. And do you really think that the four wrestling games I mentioned You think it should come together as a one game, you know? Or do you think I'm just too hopeful for that type of shit to happen? Maybe I am.